anyway. And how people call me a titty baby. That's what people say about me. My students in my classes, all ages, when I walked into my classes to teach, would say that about me. They'd start sucking their thumb, and I had these are students I didn't know, they never met. And I tell them to stop doing that, and they were obviously being told to do it. I remember at Captain Shreve, there was one girl in ROTC that drew a baby on the chalkboard with a baby bottle and looked at me and just laughed. She was a child, she's a teenager, but I never met her, hadn't done anything but sit at the desk because there was another ROTC instructor or two that day. I think there was at least one. He said, you know, there's really nothing for you to do. I think he was standing outside, and I just sat at the teacher's desk. You know, to have kids humiliate you that way. The only thing I could think of is, you poor child, that somebody has told you to do that to me, and you don't know me, and you think that that's funny, and if you knew the truth about it, and you're a child, and you're here to educate yourself for your future, and you're playing this game with me, and attempting to take authority over me, and if you knew how wrong you were, but you're a child, and there's no point to me arguing with you because you're a child. And they, you know, kids, they would do that in my classes in a mocking way. When I hadn't even said anything to them, they didn't know me, you know. You know, they didn't have any reason to say that about me. And I know that just happened to me so many times, so many times. And the plausible deniability of it is, well, those are kids. Kids are kids, you know. Other times they would just use their thumb and move their mouth up and down on their thumb rapidly, as if to perform oral sex on their thumbs. I remember talking to other teachers about it. They say, yeah, kids do terrible things, you know, just ignore it. Tell them you don't like it. Tell them it's disgusting. You know, punish them, take away their recess. And I've worked in classrooms where kids were doing that with another teacher. I remember one classroom I was in with a teacher, and one kid was doing that, and I told him to stop and do his work. He stopped doing it, then another kid started doing it. And that teacher acted like he didn't even see it. And I'm pretty sure those were classrooms where I was being monitored and stuff like that. And I'm supposed to be a pedophile. I don't walk into school classrooms or school campuses with a badge and tell students to perform oral sex on their thumbs. Pedophiles do that. And if you use a badge to do that, it sounds like you're using a badge to hide the fact that you're a pedophile. And that you enjoy walking on the school campuses and talking to children and engaging them in that type of activity under the auspices of official duties as a police officer. I wasn't the one who told those kids to behave that way. I'm the one who corrected them and told them not to. and then those children were being, they'd run out of the classroom at the end of the day, or they'd just jump up and run out of class, to the point that even like at Byrd High School when that happened, what they're saying is that I gave them permission. I didn't ever give them permission. I know that because when I've caught them and confronted them and involved other teachers, they've said, yeah, you said I could go. No, I didn't. Sorry. What do you think you're doing? You can't just get them right out of class. That's happened to me. That happened to me over and over again. So I think whoever's doing this to me and my son is probably someone with a badge that is a pedophile. There is never any reason to surveil a child in their home. You don't need to know when they go to the bathroom. You don't need to know what they do in their bedroom. That's voyeurism is what it is. And there's just no reason to do that. Only a pedophile would surveil a child like that. If you believe a child is in danger to the point that you need to surveil them while they're in the bathroom and when they're in their bedroom and all that kind of stuff, you should be able to make a case before you get to the point where you're going to surveil them. Way back in the day, before there was such a thing as surveillance equipment and stuff, there were other tried and true methods of determining whether or not a child was in danger in his or her own home. I talked to a man that was a master's degree therapist with a license who worked for Child Protective Services, and he was the one who examined phone calls. His caseworkers would take over the phone reports of children being in danger and abused, and he had to determine whether or not somebody was sent out to investigate those phone calls and reports. And those are processes that are used and have been used for decades, and that's how it really is done. If you think a child is in danger, it doesn't involve surveilling the child. Even if you try to say that the child is in your presence, there's still no reason to do that. I've had to surveil me on my son to prove what we do and don't do every day. And my son doesn't like it, and he doesn't like it being videotaped or anything like that. I don't like having to do it either. It's a pain in the ass. So, accusing me of being uncooperative when all I get is a single cough and somebody that I don't know staring at me. When in Rome, do as the Romans, yeah. Okay. Why are you calling somebody that I don't know and have never met, telling them to stare at me, and saying that that's an invitation to participate or testify? If you can call them, you can call me. Especially since they're doing it in a public place. Isn't that easy to tell? Easy, easy, easy. It's fun for the whole community. Really. Everybody wants to be James Bond. Those are the #1 movies now, James Bond, Ethan Hunt. How many Law and Orders are there on TV? 4. Criminal CSI shows, 4 of those. Everybody wants to play the game. I'm not a game, and neither is my son. I'm not going to pretend to be an espionage agent, and I would respond to those types of situations if I could. It's so surreal. It's it's just so surreal, and I can't understand why anybody would do something like that instead of speaking straightforward to me. Especially since somebody spoke straightforward to them and put them up to it, but they're on the treatment team, so that's okay for them. Why can't you include me on the treatment team too then? Speak plainly to me. How hard is that? How about don't do this to me and my son anymore? And quit calling me crazy and pretending that you're doing something that's okay. You're not. You know it, and I do too.